Hello. I'm Donna Kay, and I'm here with you live to answer your burning questions about ADHD. Okay, so if you guys are tuning in and you have any questions, pop them in the chat below and let me know what questions you've got about ADHD. I actually asked last week right here on Instagram what questions you all had relating to ADHD, and I'm so excited to be answering those for you today. But guys, if you are in live, I am happy to answer your live one as well. Now, just pop them in the comments and we can chat about it. Now, for any of you that don't know me already, my name is Donna Kay. I'm a board certified health and nutrition practitioner, and I specialize working with families of kids with ADHD, helping them to naturally reduce those challenging ADHD symptoms. So let's get started. Now, as I said, if you're tuning here live on YouTube or Instagram, pop your questions in the chat. I can already see one thing for a question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the ones that got asked on the post first, and then I'll come back to that and answer it for you. Now, one of the questions that I got was from Annie, and she asked, why don't traditional doctors talk about the stuff that you talk about on your Instagram channel? Now, the reality is most medical doctors were never trained to. And I am just realizing there's a tree being cut outside my window that is literally making so much noise. Give me one sec. There we go. Totally had to shut the window so you didn't hear that tree being cut. Now, look, most pediatricians, they genuinely care, but their education focuses on diagnosing and managing symptoms, not uncovering root causes. You know, they're not taught how gut health, how inflammation or nutrient depletion impact the brain. You know, in fact, many medical doctors receive less than 3 hours of nutrition education in their entire training, or even per year. Look, in 4 years, over 3 hours, 4 years, that's 12 hours. That's less than what a lot of our kids are using playing video games every single week. So when it comes to topics like gut-brain connection, neuroinflammation, or detox pathways, it's not that they're withholding information, it's that it was never part of their medical model. Now, they're working inside a system that's designed to assign a diagnostic code and match it with a reimbursable treatment, usually medication. And that system isn't set up to explore the deeper biological drivers behind a lot of those ADHD symptoms that we are experiencing with our kids. And that's why so many parents feel dismissed. And that's what actually happened to me all those years ago when my son was diagnosed. I asked him about gut health, I asked him about nutrition, and he said to me, don't bother. None of that works. And look, that's why real answers often come outside the medical system through a completely different lens entirely. So hopefully that answers that question, Annie. Now, the next question I have is from Tracy. My child is so constipated. Could that be affecting her behavior, and what do I do about it? This is a really common question that I get asked. Just because constipation is common in kids doesn't mean that it's normal. When stool builds up, yes, I know we're talking about stool or poop, it creates stress in that body. And that stress can show up in an unexpected way. Things like irritability, poor focus, sleep troubles, or emotional outbursts. And this is why when a child isn't pooping daily, their body starts to reabsorb the toxins that should have been eliminated, and that increases inflammation. Okay, and inflammation in the gut sends signals to the brain, gut-brain connection. It can impact mood, it can impact behavior, executive function, learning, all of those things. So yes, if your child is backed up, it's very possible that it's contributing to their behavioral challenges. And supporting regular bowel movements can make a bigger difference than you might expect. So before jumping to, Miralax or medication that the doctor suggests, you want to ask yourselves this question. And the question that actually was popped into the comments comments here. I have 2 sons with ADHD. What things can help them when they're feeling anxious or they're hyperactive? So these questions that I'm about to ask, that you want to ask if your child's constipated, is very similar to what you want to be asking as well. Is your child eating inflammatory foods like loads of gluten and dairy and lots of sugar? Are they drinking enough water? Are they low in key minerals and vitamins? Okay. Are they moving enough during the day? So while we're talking about constipation, those are the questions that you want to be asking as well. Ellie Gray, on are things like that going on in your house? Are they doing those things? And those are some of the best places to start to help with hyperactivity, to help with anxiety. I talk a lot about the gut-brain connection. I've done a lot of trainings here on Instagram, and you can check those out on my feed. And the gut-brain connection is really, really important for kids with ADHD and for anxiety. 95% of serotonin is made in our gut. Serotonin is the neurotransmitter, the hormone that helps us not be anxious. So definitely want to be looking at the gut. And are they pooping every day? Look, constipation is often a symptom of something deeper going on in the gut. So gut dysbiosis, food sensitivities, inflammation, nutrient depletion, and many doctors out there recommend Miralax as a first step. But I encourage parents, again, I'm not giving any medical advice here. You've always got to do what you need to do with what your medical doctor is suggesting for you. But for me, I would pause before using Miralax, because it doesn't address why your child is constipated. It only forces a result. And while some tolerate it just fine, others experience side effects like cramping, bloating, diarrhea, mood swings, and in some children, behavioral shifts. I've seen studies out there. You can see all the stories on Facebook of people that were given Miralax, and all of a sudden they've seen these behavioral shifts that's happening, and that's really concerning. Now, I'm not anti-medication at all, but I believe it should never be the first solution when safer natural options are available. So here's what I recommend trying first. Remove inflammatory foods, so gluten, dairy. So Ellie Gray, this is also going to answer your question. What do I suggest to help with anxiety, to help with hyperactivity? Okay, remove inflammatory foods, gluten, dairy. They're 2 of the most common triggers that I see, and removing them can often restore gut regularity, so going to the toilet every day, but also help with reducing inflammation that's exacerbating the gut breakdown, that's exacerbating the inflammation that will then result in symptoms like hyperactivity and anxiety. For constipation in particular, try magnesium citrate. This helps the bowel relax and move. Now, I love a supplement called BM Essentials. It combines magnesium citrate, Cape alloy, and Triphala, which gently support elimination and detoxification. If you guys want a link to that, you can actually just drop the words shop, SHOP, in the comments, and we'll send you the link. So just drop the word shop, SHOP, in the comments, and we'll send you a link to that BM Essentials. Other things that you can do is use castor oil packs. These are amazing for stimulating the lymphatic system and supporting gut motility. You can try them for an hour a day. And if tolerated, you can increase to overnight, and you can put it either on the stomach, you can put it on the liver, and so forth. Another thing you want to do is increase hydration and movement. So simple, but so powerful. Most kids just don't, drink enough water. They don't move enough to actually support regular elimination. Now, lastly, if needed, this is like only if needed, there's something called oxy powder, and this is a more advanced natural tool that can help when other strategies aren't quite enough. Now, you don't have to rely on synthetic laxatives. There are effective, safe, natural ways to support your child's gut naturally, and the behavioral benefits can be so incredible. But not only that, And Ellie Gray, I follow my instinct, is hard because he's an extremely picky eater, tremendously challenging. I can tell you, Ellie, I totally understand where you're at. Picky eating is super common. Out of all the families that I work with across the US and overseas, I would probably say that 70% of kids with ADHD are picky eaters. And there has not been a picky eater that I haven't been able to help. I've done a lot of training on picky eating. You can go to my YouTube channel, ADHD Thrive Institute, and you can go Dana Kay and picky eating, and you'll see some great training videos on there. So just to finish off on the constipation, if your child is constipated, it's not just a bathroom issue. It's a whole body issue. You want to support their digestion, and you'll likely see improvements in their mood, in their focus, and in their resilience too. Now, I had another question from Sarah. She asked, you're more than welcome, Ellie. I hope that's your name. I'm just going on your Instagram handle. She asked, is this just how my child is wired, or can things actually improve? Really, really good question. It might look like, and we've been told that this is just how your child is wired. But what if what you're seeing, and Ellie, this is going to answer your question as well, what if what you're seeing is actually a biological response, not a fixed trait? So many ADHD symptoms: impulsivity, hyperactivity, anxiety, mood swings, meltdowns, sleep struggles can be tied back to biologically underlying stresses that are happening in the body. Things like gut imbalances, inflammation, nutrient deficiencies, detox challenges, nervous system stress. And when these systems are overloaded, the brain and the body, they can't regulate properly. And that's when that behavior spirals. That's when they can't focus at school. Their brain is foggy because it's dealing with all this fire that's going on underneath. But when we support those systems strategically, everything changes. This isn't about changing who your child is. It's about supporting their biology so their brilliance can really shine through without the chaos. So yes, real progress is possible, not because you need to try harder, but because you can finally understand what's going on. I actually have just created a private podcast. It's called Crack the Code, and it's available on my website. It's 6 short, sharp episodes, audio episodes. You can listen to them on 2-speed. They're all less than 15 minutes, 6 episodes. Do I have an automation that will send the code through to you? I thought I did. Let me just double check. But I have had the most amazing feedback from this Crack the Code private ADHD podcast, for parents just like you guys listening in, that is really going to help you understand what are those biological underlying drivers that could be contributing to all of the symptoms that you've mentioned, like Ellie, and all of the questions that I've answered today. So I am going to find that actual word, because I can tell you that there should be an automation that if you drop that word in this live, it will pop up. So I'm just trying to find this. You just want to drop the word code, CODE. This series is so powerful. It's really raw. It's really, it's going to lay everything out for you. I loved doing it, and it's so short and sharp, and you can listen to an episode on your way to dropping off kids to camp or going and dropping them off to sport. Who else out there feels like they are an Uber driver right now? I can tell you, I feel like an Uber driving my kids here, there, and everywhere. So all you need to do is drop the word code, CODE, in the comments, and we will send you the link to the Crack the Code private ADHD podcast. And as I said, it's only 6 short episodes. You can listen to me on 2-speed. I mean, I might sound like a chipmunk, but that's okay. If you can deal with that, you can deal with that. But guys, given there's no more questions from the chat, I'll just give you one more opportunity to either drop the word code, CODE, or ask any other questions in the chat. And if there's no more questions for today, you can always come to me via DM, and I'm more than happy to answer any ADHD burning questions you've got on how you can help your child thrive naturally without medication. Looks like there's no other questions today, so I'm going to finish up, but I will be here same time next week on Instagram and YouTube for this series coming live. But guys, hope you have a wonderful day. Talk to you all soon.